don't get in this business for real. This is a fucked up business. It's like, you know what I'm saying, it's give or take.
They called it coincidence. August 25th, 2001, Aaliyah's twin-engine Cessna drops from a cloudless Bahamian sky. February 25th, 2008, Static Major strolls into a Kentucky hospital with what feels like the flu and never walks out. 2 stars gone 7 years apart, 2 investigations wrapped in record time and hanging like a ghost between them, 1 object the public has never seen. Static's leather-bound diary. Rumor says the book was stuffed with names, backstage secrets, and a warning for anyone who still believed talent alone could keep you safe in the music business. But here's the twist that chills even industry vets. Minutes after Static flatlined, the diary allegedly disappeared. No police log, no chain of custody, just thin air. So tonight we're digging into the overlapping mysteries, the power players who lurked in both stories, and the clues Static left in plain sight. Because if that diary resurfaces, or if the truths inside ever leak, whole careers could crumble overnight. Think you know the Aaliyah tragedy? Think again. Before scandals, before whispers of conspiracy, Stephen Static Major Garrett was Louisville's quiet prodigy. Church alto turned hit factory, he could hear a hook inside a stuck elevator and funnel it straight into the Hot 100. 1996, Penn's Ginnawoin's Pony, a half-beat gallop that still headlines strip club playlists across 3 continents. 1998, sits in a dim New York studio, layers baby cry samples under Aaliyah's Velvet Whisper and births Are You That Somebody? 2008, croons the earworm chorus on Lil Wayne's Lollipop. The single rockets to #1. 112 days after Static's death, turning his voice into a posthumous victory lap. Insiders called him the architect of futuristic R&B, the unseen engineer who designed radio's next season while his name hid in liner note font size 6. Friends swear that Mismatch, Grammy nominations for others, paid off mortgages for labels. Knocked holes in Static's optimism. He once told a college intern, "This game ain't about who sings best. It's about who controls the room when lawyers walk in." He learned that lesson the brutal way, through Aaliyah's fall. Picture 19-year-old Aaliyah padding into Manhattan's Magic Mix studios. Static's already there, rolling a synth arpeggio between thumb and pinky. She hums once, he finishes her phrase, and by dawn, Try Again is zipped to LA for a Romeo Must Die soundtrack spot. Their chemistry was surgical, no wasted syllables, no ego. Engineers said they could communicate in facial twitches. A raised brow meant less hi-hat. A shoulder shrug meant double the harmonies. And yes, there were whispers of a brief romance. Static even escorted her to his mother's wedding. A rare parental green light in Aaliyah's tightly managed world. But behind the giddy gossip was a deeper kinship. 2 perfectionists navigating an industry where teenage daughters of Detroit cab drivers rarely sat at the master console. Aaliyah trusted Static not to over-sexualize her sound. Static trusted Aaliyah to treat his lyrics like confessions, not product. That mutual guard-up stance is key, because when the plane went down and corporate vultures swarmed, Static retreated instead of monetizing her memory. The next time the public really heard his voice was the day news anchors reported his own death. Let's rewind. It's past noon on Abaco Island. The Rock the Boat video rap party ran late. Aaliyah's eyelids weigh more than her carry-on. Taxi owner Kingsley Russell, 13 at the time, remembers Aaliyah saying, "I don't like that plane. It's too small." Witnesses claim someone on her team handed her a white pill. Something for the headache. Minutes later, she's unconscious, strapped inside the very cabin she'd refused. Facts the final report could not ignore. The Cessna was at least 700 pounds over its legal max. The pilot, Luis Morales, had traces of coke and booze in his bloodstream and a forged license on record. Virgin Records' local rep demanded staff sign NDAs hours after the crash, citing brand protection. Still, the story officially closed as pilot error. To fans, it felt like a pop culture mugging. 1 minute, a superstar is choreographing waist-deep in turquoise water. The next, news crawls reduce her to an R&B singer aged 22. Mary J. Blige later called the crash a spiritual mur-R. She wouldn't elaborate, That single half-sentence, never retracted, still punches holes through the accident narrative. And Static? He went from talkative to silent. Studio bookings dried up, not because work vanished, but because he ghosted the spotlight. By 2004, friends noticed a leather notebook in Static's grip more often than a blunt. He'd scrawl mid-conversation, shut the cover if anyone asked, and mutter, "Receipts, bruh. One day I might need receipts." Pieces rumored to be inside, meeting notes between Rockefeller and a top video director days before Aaliyah's Bahamas shoot. A phone record that places R. Kelly's fixer in Nassau the same weekend. Lyric drafts plainly referencing angels who fell from faulty wings. Nobody has verified those pages publicly, but a puzzling coincidence survives. When Static's wife asked for the diary to help finalize his estate catalog, it was gone. No police theft report logged, no movers admitted handling it. One road manager swears he saw a blonde assistant tuck it into her tote the night Static's body was flown to Georgia for the funeral. Was she label staff? A hired cleaner? He can't say. The church parking lot was chaos. And yet fragments tumbled onto message boards, grainy scans of verses about platinum gates guarded by wolves in white linen. Every snippet fed new Reddit threads, and every thread tightened suspicion around 3 power names. R. Kelly. Court transcripts, 2021, confirm he married 15-year-old Aaliyah using a fraudulent Illinois ID. Tour manager Demetrius Smith testified Kelly feared a pregnancy charge and wanted marital rights over a minor's medical decisions. The marriage was annulled. The trauma remained. Jay-Z, Dame Dash, Aaliyah's boyfriend at the time of her death, says Jay-Z wanted her badly and treated the rejection like a Wall Street hostile takeover. Jaguar Wright, industry whistleblower or clout chaser, depending who you believe, insists Jay leveraged Hype Williams to push Aaliyah onto an aircraft he knew was suspect so he could clear a lane for Beyoncé. Wild? Maybe. But Jay's documented friendship maintained ties to R. Kelly despite protests do raise eyebrows. Shion, the mogul's all-white Hampton parties were legendary for open-bar luxury and whispered backroom excess. Multiple lawsuits filed in 2024 allege coercive environments at similar events. While none linked directly to Aaliyah, it's no secret she attended at least 2 such soirees in 2000. Insiders say Static felt those parties changed her. She came back quieter, guarded, like she'd seen a part of the industry we can't unsee, one engineer recalled. Static allegedly circled those surnames in red. If true, that diary wasn't a journal. It was a live grenade. Fast forward 7 years. Static breaks a mild fever but insists on finishing a hook for Wayne. By morning, his breathing's wheezy. Wife Avanti drives him to Baptist Hospital East. Records show doctors ordered a pericardial drainage. Low risk, often outpatient. Something goes sideways. Fluid floods his lungs, pulse tanks, intubation fails twice. 4 hours later, he's pronounced dead. Key discrepancies. No public autopsy. The coroner ruled the cause post-operative respiratory distress, then sealed files citing family privacy. Medication mismatch. A malpractice suit filed by Avanti notes an anesthetic dose inappropriate for patient weight. Lost vital logs. 2 pages of respiration charts vanished from the chart rack, according to a deposition by a night nurse. The hospital settled 8 months later under non-disclosure. Rumor says the payout hit 7 figures. But Static's brother claims the money was bittersweet. All we wanted was answers. We got hush paperwork. Meanwhile, industry execs attended the funeral, placed wreaths the size of Toyota Priuses, and left before the family meal. The solo album, Supper Time, shelved indefinitely. The diary, still MIA. Static and Aaliyah aren't isolated tragedies. Flip through music's obituaries. Sam Cooke, 1964. Shot in an LA motel, ruled justifiable homicide. Family disputes live to this day. Prince, 2016, found in an elevator, doctors cite fentanyl mislabeling. Estate still chasing prescription trail. DMX, 2021, heart attack following reported OD. Friends claim he'd been talking about cleaning house in the biz. These aren't copy-paste deaths, but each involves murky documents, sealed settlements, or a star preparing to assert ownership over their masters. patterns don't prove plots, but they sure rattle the idea of producers who heard rough cuts of Supper Time say the album veered darker than his earlier work. One unreleased track, Angel Down, opens with thunderclaps and a whispered line. If heaven had a lobby, you'd see them lining up with contracts. Another, Welcome to Supper, allegedly name drops Crooked Kings in White, a lyric fans read as shade toward dress code parties. A third track features a voicemail snippet, believed to be Aaliyah, laughing about future vacations. Whether authentic or a studio recreation, the sample drips emotion. Would the album have cracked the code? Would the diary have forced investigations? We can only guess because both the music and the notebook remain locked in vaults. Figuratively or literally, nobody knows. The pill? What exactly was given to Aaliyah? Toxicology in Nassau listed alcohol and traces of sedative, but doses were too low to matter. Fans suspect the Bahamas lab was underfunded and rushed. The NDA tsunami, Virgin and Blackground Records allegedly issued fresh non-disclosures within 48 hours of the crash. NDA language reportedly barred signees from mentioning any medical intervention Aaliyah received pre-flight. The blonde assistant, spotted with Static's diary, never identified. Some say she matched the description of a marketing temp from Interscope. Others insist she was Roc Nation security. Conspiracy creep? Maybe. But each unsolved item keeps the internet sleuthing, and every new detail resurrects the same uneasy question: who profits from silence? 24 years after that flaming wreckage in the Abaco shrubs, 17 years after a cough turned coffin in Louisville, and the central mystery stands. Were Aaliyah and Static victims of destiny or design? Evidence is scattered, sealed, or scorched. But silence is brittle. Diaries resurface in estate sales. Hard drives thaw from climate-controlled vaults. Flight log digitizations wander onto FOIA sites. One leak, one confession, or one forgotten subpoena could rewrite pop culture history overnight. So here's the charge for every viewer still watching. Archive interviews. Download those grainy Static radio rants before they disappear. Boost real journalism. Click the articles that dig past ad revenue. Share them. Demand transparency. When a celebrity dies young, ask for autopsies, not platitudes, because the music can't testify, but fans can. And if that diary ever surfaces, the truth will drop harder than any beat Static ever programmed. Until then, remember, in an industry where masters are worth millions, sometimes the most valuable asset isn't gold records, it's silence. Stay loud.